a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Well, my guest today is in the healthcare business, and she's also in school. And I want to find out about both of those things. Please meet Adele Peter-Point. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nancy.
Before I ask questions about that, there's this quote that's on your Facebook page, your profile, from Raymond Harold Point.
Yes.
You can call me Mr., you can call me Sir, but never call me Rubber Ducky.
It's more like of a childhood, like a childlike joke that we used to play when we were all kids. He would say it to my sister, my brother, and myself. So like the first time he actually introduced it to us, I didn't get it. He was like, I was like, so what should we, like, what do people usually call you? He was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Okay. He was like, you can call me Mr. Okay, you can call me Sir. We're like, okay, Dad. And then he was like, but never call me Rubber Ducky. So it kind of just stuck with us ever, like, since we were kids. So that's why I put it on there, because it was a joke that we grew up with. Yeah. So it just stuck there. Yeah,
I love it. It made me laugh. So I enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your work now. You're in the healthcare business, right?
Yes.
Oh, profession. What do you do?
I'm actually finishing up my care aid program. So I only have my labs and my clinicals left. So I'm actually doing a gradual return tomorrow. So I help seniors. That's what I do. So I'm also in school for the medical lab assistant program. So I just started that last week.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually working to go work in the hospital as a medical lab assistant while I do the care aid program, so I can help in a facility for long-term residents.
Okay, that's really cool. Now for helping seniors, like what exactly does that entail?
For care aids, what we do is we help, like, it's kind of like babies, right? But in reverse. So, like, because obviously a lot of people can't really bend down anymore, or they can't wipe themselves anymore. So that's what we're there for, is to just make sure they're comfortable and kind of give them activities so they can keep upbeat, like play bingo. We take them out to like the front gardens and such. So yeah.
Is that like places like the Bradley Center, or that's attached to the Chilliwack Hospital, something like that?
Yeah, like for long-term care, because there's some in hospitals. I actually work in a facility. So I've heard that there's long-term care in hospitals too, because they do have a floor designated for that. I haven't been personally to one before, so I wouldn't know. But I know it's very similar to what we do, for sure.
Okay, great. What made you decide to do that?
I want to be a doctor, actually. It's more medical experience. That's what I want to do, is I want to help seniors while I'm going to school. But right now I'm just trying to get these done so I can save some money before I attempt medical school. So.
Okay, so now what you're taking right now to work in the lab, how long is that course?
Which one?
Well, sorry, you're getting your certificate, right?
Yeah, the care aid program. It's usually about 2 or 3 months. So that's all I have left. But it's 8 months program. It's condensed. The medical lab assistant, same thing. I just started last week, and it ends the mid of August.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when you decide that, at that point, like whenever you decide to start going to school to be a doctor, how long is that?
That's 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
Is there any, because I know that a lot of times when people come out of finish with their degrees, or whatever it is, that they owe so much money in student loans. Is that going to be your situation as well?
Yes, but when you excuse me, when you become a doctor, like, that's not one of the reasons. I know I'm going to be in debt as like becoming a doctor, but that's not one of the reasons. Is like, I know a lot of people said that you don't make much money unless if you become a surgeon, which that's what I'm actually hoping for,
Mhm.
is to become a surgeon. But I was told that my left arm has a dying nerve, but apparently I had a low B12. So they said that could have been affiliated with that. So that's why I'm kind of delaying the surgeon part, or else that would be 16 years because of specialty.
Oh, wow.
So that it would be longer if I become a surgeon.
Right, yeah. And I understand it, not about being the money, what you get paid. I mean, why would anybody go in debt, right? To, just for the money
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Uh, Sadly, I don't. My parents, we kind of grew up in poverty, like probably like most students have. So I do apply for scholarships and bursaries, but because a lot of people are, so I know I student loans are building up in my bank right now. So, but it is a hard choice that I had to make.
Yeah.
But I do make payments when I can. So that's what my last resort had to go to with student loans, because scholarships, like for First Nations too, we don't really get much money. So
Mm. That's not right.
yeah.
First of all, I think for anybody, it's not right to,
No.
go for whatever length of time and come out owing thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make it very easy for any of us, like especially for some I've met that did bachelor's degree that's in this program I'm in now as a
Mhm.
medical lab assistant. She did her bachelor's degree in microbiology, and she couldn't find work with it. So she's I think she said she's in debt for the bachelor's degree. So it does put a big dent in our bank accounts. It's just the sad part about living in Canada
Yeah.
or anywhere, I think, in North America.
In North America, for sure, because I do believe some
Yeah.
countries that they don't have that issue, which is,
Yeah.
which I think it should be like that here as well. Now, you mentioned that you're First Nations, right?
Yes.
So are you going to, once you become a doctor, would you be open to helping everybody, or you hope to help, say, establish somewhere where you're helping mainly First Nations people, or does that matter?
No, well, growing up from my reserve, it's very hit and miss for that, because just experience living on the reserve kind of limits your, like, let's say if you don't have a certain last name, as other family members, you don't exactly exist in a way. So, because my last name is Peter-Point, so like if you're Peter, you don't exist, or if you're a Point, you don't exist, because I'm not like my grandmother's side is Charlie, which is very common on the reserve,
Okay.
and with the Leons, but I'm not closely related. But for anyone with a certain last name, it's kind of corrupt and politics kind of thing, which kind of sucks,
Mm.
because like a lot of generations, like my dad, were traditional. So I don't want to work on a reserve because of the experience I've grown up with.
Okay.
So after I moved off, and apparently it's really hard to be considered a part of our reserve after moving off reserve. So I just want to help people. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are.
Yeah.
So that's it. My heart opened when I moved to the city in Surrey. So, excuse me. So I actually want to help Peace Arch Hospital. And that's where I felt like I was at home. I went to Surrey Memorial a lot when I was sick. So it's very busy there, so I'm not quite ready for that kind of environment for Surrey Memorial. So I thought Peace Arch is a little more like, feels like a community hospital to like for us.
Right.
That's why I want to be a doctor there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned how it is on some of the reserves. I have cousins who are First Nations. They've never lived on the reserve at all. Because when
Yeah.
their mom, my auntie, when she married a white person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she
Yeah.
lost her status, and so her kids were brought up,
Yeah.
so they don't know that life at all. But I would hope that they would at least learn, because one thing I admire about First Nations people is such beautiful, beautiful customs and history, and there's so much there, so much spiritualness and everything, so I hope they
Yeah.
learn some of that, or reconnect with it, right? Because even
Yeah.
though it might be a bad experience for you to have grown up there, some of it anyway, it's still your culture, I would say.
Mostly, yes. Yes, mostly, yeah.
Yeah, because so for so many people got lost along the way, and yeah, I don't know why I'm mentioning that.
No, it's totally cool. A lot of people have opinions, which is really good. That just means that everyone has a voice and we have the freedom to speak what we think, right?
Yes, yeah,
So,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
And also it's good for other people to hear because so many people that I know, non-Indigenous people, think you have
Mhm.
it so easy for if you're on the reserve. And I'm thinking, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
No.
right? Because we've been so lied to by
Yeah.
politicians, by the history books, right?
Yeah.
So it's important for you to have mentioned that, right? So now I know you're taking your time because you had to like even for doing this, you had to figure out how to put it in, right, with working and
Mhm.
with school. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you're in school, well, okay, let's start off. When you're working, when you're in school, like what are your hours for both, and how do you balance both?
So my work, I usually at the carried program, that one I work full time, but right now because I'm on gradual return, I usually work from starting at 7 till 3, and then my class is in the evening, which is from 4:30 to 9:30.
Okay.
So that's usually the time. So yes, I will be tired because I'd be up by 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So but I do want to attempt both programs at the same time. So because of mental illness, I have to be very quick, and I can focus at one thing at a time. So I can't just do one project or one thing.
Okay.
That's just how I am. I
Mhm.
have to be multitasking. So that's just how I am
I know.
for school.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can relate to that. I always have to be doing more than one thing,
Yeah.
For now, for the care part, when you're taking care of the elders, the seniors, is it physical?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And that must be hard on your body as well, right?
It is, that's why they kind of train you to make sure that you don't like bend too low,
Mhm.
especially if it's below your waist, like for the bed.
Yeah.
I noticed that I did that habit when I did the labs and the clinicals just before I got injured. So they always remind you, like the instructors are like, no, you Adele, you need to raise the bed because you will hurt your back.
Yeah.
So they even show us like how to lift or like brace ourselves to make sure that we don't injure our body too while we try to help others.
Right. Yeah. So you said you were injured?
I fell down a flight of stairs helping my mom move in September.
Hmm.
Yeah, that it was not fun, but I recovered, so I finally feel like I'm physically capable of returning. So I'm starting back to work tomorrow
Oh,
to help the seniors again. Yeah.
yeah. I imagine some of those seniors have missed you then if you've been away.
I think some of them might be new because I haven't been, it's a different area that I'm going into, so I'm not sure. I've not met them, but there's a section I do work usually, and I don't know if they're all there yet, so we'll see. But I love like talking to random people, hearing stories. So then I'm just like, I want to learn it because like in history, it's so much better than the modern age right now because no one is as respectful as like everybody was back then, right?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it's really sad, but
And if you just think about the things like in my mother's day, it went from
yeah.
no, or maybe my grandparents, no airplanes to airplanes, you know,
Oh, yes.
right? Things like that. And in my time, the first computer took up a whole room, and I was in my 20s or my
Mhm,
30s by then. So it's just interesting, even technology, if you look back at it,
mhm.
right?
Yes.
Think about
Like the small computers that we're using right now compared to the big computer on the wall.
yeah, yeah, and it had to have the room had to be a certain temperature, and it was like so interesting, you know. And
Yes.
same thing in the hospitals. Equipment has changed over time, right?
Yes. But
Even
it's good to know those histories, like, because I've seen, like, not saying it's always going to happen on TV shows, but I've seen that when the power goes out and they have the older, like, 90s or even in the 80s, like, hospital systems that they had to relearn. And
right,
then everyone that's still brand new and they're looking at it and they're just like, what do we do with this? And then someone that's a little older and they're like, yes, this is where I'm like the expert in this whole area. So that kind of seems interesting. I hope that happens in my future because then I can learn something.
yeah, it's like look at a rotary phone and nobody knows now
Oh,
it's
I know the dial phone
yeah,
that I find we had it when I was a kid, even though I was born late 80s,
right.
and we still used a dial phone. I remember using it, and I'm just like, how do you dial this? Like, I want to call my best friend, and we used it for a while until we went to buttons. But yeah,
Yeah. Our first phone when we moved from New Brunswick to Montreal, it was a party line. So there was two different rings. One ring, well, we answer it. If it wasn't our ring, if it was for somebody else, that didn't even live in our home.
Oh geez, that's so confusing.
It was confusing, Before that, even, we did have a phone in New Brunswick when I was a child, but you'd have to you call the operator, and then she would connect to you, whoever it is you wanted to speak to. So many things have changed, but it's all wonderful. Like I don't understand all technology, but when I finally get it, I appreciate it,
I do too. And like right now, because I'm just like the worry about the weather. That's why I did the Zoom instead. Because I was like, is it gonna snow? Like it did. Like earlier in the week, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work for me. And I'm like, maybe we'll do Zoom instead.
And even
but that's why I'm just like, pardon?
And even for parking.
Oh yes.
There's snow. The street's been plowed, but where you park is still full of snow.
Oh.
Right. So
yeah, our street still has snow in the center, like because we don't have a plow for ours. The side street.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the downside of driving out here. It's like not all side streets are plowed. So we're just like the main streets were safe, but not on their side streets.
I want to get back to caring for the seniors again.
Yes, of course.
Now, when somebody, you must get attached to them, at least some of them, right?
Of course.
So how do you deal with it when they pass, when it's time for them?
Well, of course I tear a little bit, but because of being First Nation, you kind of have experience of losing family very quickly, or like even the amounts of family that pass away. So because both my parents, I'm related to a lot of people on both sides. So we do lose a lot of people. Like I lost an aunt recently and cousins just previously before that. So it's like you kind of get used to it. It's a harsh way of saying it.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I've lost two brothers and two sisters, and both my parents, of course, and aunts and uncles, and so I understand what you're saying. It's like you still miss that person, right?
Of course, yeah.
But
I always miss my cousins and my family. Like I lost my dad too, so that's why I'm like I think I can do this. Like I know I have a soft heart because I like to socialize with people and help where I can. So when I noticed that a few of the ones I did visit when I went back to work when I was ill from I thought it was COVID, but apparently I had a stomach flu. And apparently one of the women I used to go and sit like on the balcony and we put peanuts on the railing for her birds. She called them blue jays. So she was like, look at those blue jays. I was just like, they're so pretty. And I'm like, I found out when I returned that she passed away the earlier the week. And I did cry. I was just like, I saw her son and I said, it was an honor to know your mom. And he was like, my mom always talked about you. It was like her paintings were extravagantly awesome, extraordinary. And yeah, it does hurt because a lot of them I get close to, and then obviously sudden things happen, right?
Yeah. And it's part of the job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Sad as it is, yeah. Oh, we don't want to end on a sad note. We'll have to bring something.
No, it's like my sister does it too. She's registered before I am. I'm very close to being registered. And so she got registered in 21. I almost did last year, but we lost our close uncle and it kind of hit me mentally. And then my mom, thinking about my mom, because we found out she got sick too. Right. So then it kind of mentally hit me really hard. So I had to take medical leave for mental health. Right. And then I tried to return and I got physically injured this time. So that wasn't fun. But now I'm returning back. So I get to meet some new people that I can actually hear their stories and such.
Right. Oh, that sounds really nice. Yeah. Well, we're going to end it there, but I just want to stay on camera. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to remind the audience that you've been listening to Adele Peter-Point, and I want to thank her because, I'm an elder. Like, you never know. I might be in a care facility where she's working. So it's, well, people, just to thank people who do what you do anyway, because it's very important. If people didn't have somebody like you to care for them, then they're kind of lost a lot of time, right? Some people don't have families to come and visit them, so it means a lot. Anyway, so to the audience, thank you very much for watching the show. I appreciate it. I hope you continue to do so. Take care and be so.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.